Hello everyone, welcome back to GeekDisorder's web series over HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and jQuery. This is Lavik. I'll be walking you through this series. Today we're going to be going over some CSS properties on styling fonts, 4 properties in general. We're going to be going over font style, font weight, font variant, and line height. Okay, in front of me I've got a basic HTML5 document already set up. We're using embedded CSS, and I have a paragraph with this is some text in it. Okay, so basically I'm going to go up in my CSS, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make all the text in my body a little bigger so it's easier to see. I'm going to do font size, and we'll go 5 EM. There we go. We'll go ahead and save this and run so you'll see it. There we go. There's our paragraph. Alright, so I'm going to move down. I'm going to style my paragraph. The first one I'm going to do is font style. So I'll put font style here. And with font style, it's basically used to either italic something, make something italic, or normal. It also has a keyword for oblique, but you'll see oblique and italic are pretty much the same. There are differences, but if you want to know those differences, and they're minor, you'll want to Google that, just italic versus oblique. But I will show you both. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with normal. And I'm going to show you that nothing changed. Normal is just the default. See, looks just the way it did. If I change this to italic here, I save, I run again. There we go. Down here in my paragraph, I'm going to add a span. And I'm just going to put the word span in there. That'll work. Alright, and in my span, or to format my span, didn't mean to do that, I am going to put font, style, normal. Alright, and save, and we're going to launch in Firefox. You see, my paragraph, all the other text in my paragraph is still italic. Since by span, I changed this font style to normal. It is now normal. So if for some reason you want something just to be the default font in a paragraph or like a word or something, that's the way you do that. Alright. And I'm going to show you oblique. I'm just going to make the span oblique. I'm going to save, run this. It's just, in this is just the same as italic, just about. I can't tell a difference. So, but there is small little differences, and mostly it's from a font designer's point of view. So you can Google that if you want to know those differences. Alright, so let's move on. Let's move to font weight. Well, font weight is kind of like font style, except you're making something bold instead of italic. There's a few different ways to do this. You can use the keywords, which is normal, bold, bolder, and lighter. Normal being, of course, your normal state of your font, bold being bold, and bolder and lighter are relative to the parent element. So like our span, it'd be relevant to the paragraph. So if I wanted my whatever's in my span to be bolder than my paragraph, I'd put bolder right here. If I wanted it to be lighter, I'd put lighter. And we'll play around with this in just a second. Let's go ahead and remove our font styles. Okay, and I'm going to replace that with font weight. Okay, and of course normal is just the default font, so I'm going to put bold here, and we're going to run this. Alright, all my text is bold now. Now, as I was saying before, if we put font weight on our span and we change that to say lighter, I can save, run that again. Oh, I left off a T. Try that again. There we go. Our span, all the text in our span, which is the word span, is now lighter in boldness than the rest of our text. So basically it's closer to normal, the normal font. And there are a few little when you're playing around with it, you might see some like little, what you might think are glitches, or things don't work exactly the way you see them when playing with bolder, lighter, and stuff. Mainly that is going to happen when you start using the other way you can specify the font weight, which is going from 100 to 900 in multiples of 100, 400 being equal to normal, 700 being equal to the bold keyword. So, and I'll show you this right now. You start to, the font weights are based off the font family, and so if there's a font inside that family that is lighter, it will go to that. Of course, there's some rules. If you want to know these rules, I'm not going to get into them. You can Google it, but I'll kind of show you what happens here. If I go to full boldness, which is 900, okay, and I have lighter in my span, I save and I run this. The span does not change. So, see, when you start to specify using the numbers, 1 to 900 and multiples of 100, you can kind of run into some little quirks like this. If I go down to 700, which is equal to bold, launch in Firefox, you can see it does work. It's working now. So you can kind of play around with this. If I go to 400, make this normal, I can go down here and change this to bolder, save, and I can run, and it works. Alright, so yeah, you can kind of play around with this. Me personally, I stick to bold, normal, bolder, and lighter to kind of work with stuff. You got to remember, when using bolder and lighter, it's relative of the parent element, so whatever, like the span is inside the paragraph, so it's whatever I put on the span is relative to the paragraph. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Our next property we're going to look at is font variant. Okay, so what is that? It specifies whether small caps will be used or normal, and I'll actually show you what this looks like here. Alright, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and remove this span. Alright, and let's go ahead and look at small caps. If I put font and then I put variant, okay, normal, of course, is just normal. There's our text. But if I put small caps, this is what happens. I put small caps, save and run. Oops, not IE. Firefox. Alright, you can see everything is capitalized, and that is not so in our paragraph. But when I put small caps, everything becomes capitalized. Any capital letter is a little bit bigger than all the other ones. So that is what small caps look like. Some people like this. I can kind of see myself using this in some of my web pages, but it's kind of up to you, whatever style you're looking for. So that is font variant, small caps or normal. Okay, and the last one is line height. Line height can be relative or absolute. It can specify the vertical space for each line. Okay, and when you specify the vertical space, it takes up, it kind of looks at your font, and then any excess space is divided equally between the space above your font and below. And we'll take a look at that right now. If I put line and then height, okay, and with this you could specify using points, percent, em, and so on. So we're going to use em here. If I put 3 em, okay, and the best way to look at this is to have 2 paragraphs, or actually let's not use 2 paragraphs, let's use a break. Alright, and there we go. We'll save that and we'll run. Alright, as you can see, there's a lot of space between these two lines. If I remove this or set this to 1 em and run, that's what it would normally look like. Alright, so as I increase this, that space gets bigger. So that's kind of what it's used for, is to, increase the space or decrease the space between lines. And the last thing we're going to look at is some shorthand for all of these properties. Okay, so you can actually put all these properties into one line, and so we're going to look at that. I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and the way you do this is you just put font. Alright, and what you want to do is, I'm going to kind of type out how you want to lay this out. Anything optional, I'm going to put in brackets, which you have your style, okay, and then you have your weight, alright, and then you have your variant. Oops, this is optional. Okay, you have your size, your font size. That is not optional. Okay. You also have your line height. There we go. All right. And if you noticed, I didn't put a space between size and line height, and I also have this /. And you'll see it here in a second. What this is the size and line height of your font. They can be put together with a slash in between. The first number or whatever you're using will be the font size. After the / is your line height. So you can do that. And font size is mandatory when doing it this way. Alright. Next is your font family. Alright. And font family is mandatory when setting up like this. So if you don't want to specify your font size or font family, you'll need to break each one of these up into like font style, font weight, font variant, and font line height, or line height, sorry. So this is how this is set up, and I will show you this in action. Alright, so I'll put font, and I will put that little string in the description so you can have that. Alright, so I put font, and if I want to say, I want to use my style, and my style I want to make italic. Okay, so I'll put a space now. Next, no, I don't want to mess with weight right now, so I'm going to skip that one. But I am going to use my variant. I'm going to have small caps. Okay, put me a space. I've got to set my size, so I'm going to go 2 em, since we're already at 5 em from the body. I'm going to make it double that. Alright, and my line height, yeah, I'm going to set my line height. My line height, what do I want that to be? I want that to be 2 em. Okay, and then of course we have to have a font family here. So my font family is going to, there we go, serif. And go ahead and run this, save and run. And this is what we get. Okay, so I'm probably made my text a little too big here, but that's okay. As you can see, we hit, everything is italics. Okay. The next was small caps. See, that took effect. Next we have 2 em on the line height, and if I was to change this to 1 em to make that smaller, remove the line height, I could save, I could run, and there we go. Alright, and then of course my font family, and that's what it's using for my font, which that's just one of the generics. Alright, so that's kind of how that's set up. Remember, you can just go through and list those. You do not have to use commas except for with the font family. You do have to separate by commas, and remember, if the font family word, the font is multiple words with spaces in between, you do have to use quotes. Okay, well, Let's see, this has been Lavic with Geek Disorder. I hope you've enjoyed this content. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Feel free to ask. And if you like our content, please like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see y'all next time.